Fred walked off the show yesterday, and here's what happened as far as I can tell. As you know, Fred, we were in the middle of a commercial.
Yes.
And whenever I do the Iowa Mini System commercial, Fred yells out, Mini System.
Okay.
You know, he always does that.
Yeah.
So it was getting on my nerves, and I said, Fred, don't do it anymore. Don't yell out Mini System. It's hard enough to get through these commercials. So he says, oh, yeah? Well, I'm just doing it because I'm tired.
Well, I was trying to make a joke.
Right, you were making a joke about... Robin stormed off the show because she was tired.
Right.
She goes, I'm tired. So that was pretty funny. And Fred saying I'm tired was funny.
Right, and so somebody said, well, if you're so tired...
I said it. I said, if you're so tired, why don't you leave? So Fred goes, okay. He picks up his bag and he walks out. Now, the appropriate thing to do would have been to go into the bathroom.
Right.
And, you know... wait 2 minutes and then come back.
Or even pretend that you're leaving, you know, and walk out the door.
Right, and then stay, hey, how long do I want to carry this on?
Yeah.
Or to really leave if you're pissed. Now, Fred, to me, Fred was probably a little pissed, because sometimes he gets angry, because sometimes I let Billy say whatever he wants, and I know Fred's like, you know, oh, what's the matter? Can't I say what I want?
Yeah, I had a great debate going on in my head last night as to whether Fred was really pissed. Or
he was a little pissed.
It was a joke.
I wish I was there.
He was a little pissed. And stop debating in your head, because you know what that leads to.
Running on your zone.
Yeah, mental illness.
People in here, I can have a great debate.
Running on your face, painting.
Yeah, you know, last time you started debating, she led to a whole book.
I ran on your face.
Right. So, anyway, so Fred was like a little miffed, but he thought, hey, screw it. I'm a man of my word. You know, I'm going to leave. And he left. Once he left, he felt really stupid.
I would imagine.
Because, number one, as even Ralph said to me this morning, it wasn't even funny.
It was stupid enough sitting in my office. So
I mean, weren't you embarrassed after you left and now you had to work your way back into the show?
Right, yeah. And you got to figure out how to get back in.
Yeah, and I knew that was going on. I said, oh, look what Robin did now. She got up and left, and now she's got to work her way back onto the show. And that's worse, because you're embarrassed.
And you got to take the heat of everything you just said.
And you feel stupid.
Right, it was dumb.
So Fred evidently went home yesterday and felt real stupid.
Wow,
now, I had forgotten that Fred walked off the show because I was busy trying to rehabilitate my ankle. So
you were caught up in your ankle last
night. I come back to my house, and there's 30 messages on my door because I tape the messages to my door. Laura, my assistant, tapes them to the door, and it says, you know, here we got $10 million worth of computer equipment, but we tape stuff to the door.
Bill with the paper.
It's the only way it works for me. I got to have pieces of paper. So tape to the door is message from Gary. Howard, what the hell's going on with Fred? I tried to call him. What's really going on? Give me the scoop.
Oh, so Gary couldn't get a hold of him?
No one could. Everyone tried, and I had, quite frankly, forgotten about it. I just figured Fred would show up today or not show up today.
Well, I have to admit, it occurred to me a couple of times to call Fred to see what was going on, but I got too busy.
Okay. So then I was talking to our agent, who was also Fred's agent, and he goes, what's going on with Fred?
Because I talked to him.
Yeah, so Robin evidently talked to Don, our agent, and I said, well, I normally wouldn't talk to you about it, and Robin probably wouldn't either, but she saw you, so...
Yeah, I just happened to be in the office, and it had just happened.
Yeah, so I said, look, I don't know what's going on, and evidently Fred had talked to... Fred, you spoke to our agent?
Yes.
Yeah, and so evidently Fred must have been embarrassed.
Because I was calling him. Actually, he must have just spoken to Robin, because I was calling him.
Right. So evidently, this was all going on, and like...
simultaneously.
And I just said, I said, maybe I'll call Fred up, because you know what? He's probably feeling like a real jerk. He probably feels like an imbecile for what he did. Because this is what it was sounding like to me. I was trying to read between the lines here, and it seems like Fred was feeling stupid because he walked off the show.
A little stupid.
And when he walked off, quite frankly, I got pissed off yesterday because, hey, here's the news. Fred's supposed to play sound effects. You know, despite kidding Fred around, he has a function on the show. And he's supposed to do his function, and he's decided now he's going to take matters into his own hands and walk off the show. And Chiasano was mad.
Yeah.
I got Tom over. Tom didn't know whether to be mad or not, but I told Tom to be mad, and Tom started getting mad. Tom goes, well, what do you think of this Fred leaving? I go, I'll tell you what I think. I think it's bull. I don't like it. And then Tom was like, ballistic. I said, I think you ought to speak to Fred about it. And then Tom was like, really? Okay, I'll speak to him. I'm mad, too.
All of a sudden he had a function.
Yeah. Then I was goofing, but I realized that, hey, Tom probably did call Fred, and now Fred was really in a panic.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Tom called Fred.
Yeah, I had to talk to him.
Because Tom now had a whole bunch of messages on my door. You better call me about Fred. So I said, uh-oh. Fred's in a panic. And I know Fred, when he gets nervous, he's like a dog.
He goes to the mattresses.
Yeah.
I go in the closet and hide in the shoes.
Right. That's what happened.
You take a hit on the nose.
So at this point, I had said to myself when I was speaking to my agent that I would probably call Fred, but then I was kind of like, so I'll just see him tomorrow. I'm sure he's okay. But then when I spoke to Tom, I realized Fred's got to be in a panic.
Oof.
He's got to be a nervous wreck because he's spoken to Tom, and Tom has told him that he thought it was bull.
What did Tom say? I can't even imagine.
What did Tom say to you, Fred? Well, I know you were feeling real dumb at this point because you said, I think you felt, hey, this has gotten out of hand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
First thing I did was I threw myself on the mercy of the court, and I said to Tom, immediately as soon as he answered, I go, Tom, I apologize. It was very unprofessional, and I'm sorry.
Right.
And he said, apology accepted.
Well, what was going through your mind? You left here.
Yeah.
What was the deal? Were you angry?
I was a little miffed.
Yeah, he was miffed. I knew he was miffed.
Yeah.
There was some truth in there.
Of course. But you take that little bit of truth.
Yeah, what are you angry about?
You take a little bit of that truth. Who knows?
I think it's that whole thing between him and Billy because they're both voice guys, and Billy sometimes gets a little more leeway.
You know what I think? I think Fred was really tired.
Yeah. Were you tired, Fred?
No, I wasn't.
Maybe you were tired. Seriously.
As wacky as he is, he knows that that's no excuse.
I'd love to use that excuse.
Meanwhile, as soon as Fred left, we got about 550 faxes from people who wanted to replace
The
Fred.
phone went crazy.
Yeah.
In fact, you have a fax in front of a guy who wants Fred's job. He's applying.
Yeah. And the thing is that, Fred, you can't be so damn insecure. I mean, just because they give Billy more carte blanche with the voices, you get carte blanche with the writing and the sounds and everything else. Right. It's just, and he's here 3 days a week, you're here 5.
No.
You really think the Billy thing?
It was a little of everything. I don't know.
I think what it was yesterday was just one of those things where I was just doing the same silly crap that I usually do.
Right. All right, so I had to find a quick way to tell you.
You got a little annoyed.
Right.
And I'm going like, okay, let's make a joke out of it. And you seem to get more annoyed. And then I tried to make another joke out of it, and then Robin piled on. And it was like,
did Robin pile on? I don't recall.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What did she say?
Well, I was the one who told him to leave, actually. And
were you?
Yeah, go ahead and leave.
Oh.
There you go. So,
and then you left.
And then I left.
And then how soon after you left did you feel stupid for leaving?
About 10 seconds.
I
Yeah,
was going to say that usually you're at the elevator and you don't know what to do.
Yeah, now it's like, hey, I can't be I just said to myself, you know what? I'm not going to be a big shot here. I said, Fred put himself in a position. Fred's a real fan of the show. Fred's loyal to the show. Nobody loves the show more than Fred.
Absolutely.
So I just said, you know what? He's probably feeling like a real douche.
Yeah.
And since he's not man enough to call me, which he was supposed to, everyone had recommended that he call me, and since he's not man enough.
Still didn't call?
Yeah, of course not, because he can't confront reality. He's from Mars.
I'm
shocked. There you go.
But,
so I said, you know what? Let me call. I said, let me calm the guy down. Let me be a human being. Because the guy's going to be a mess. Yeah, I know you did. And then I called up and I got your wife on the phone. I said, let me speak to that kook.
What did he have to tell her? I would have loved to have been at your house yesterday.
Yeah.
He had to tell his wife what he did.
I don't know. Did you tell your wife what you did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she fell on the floor and then I picked her up.
Right.
Luckily she wasn't home.
At what point, when you stood up, had you planned on leaving for home when you stood up, or were you just going to the bathroom, or?
No, I was just going to pick up my bag and just start walking, and nobody seemed to stop me, so I kept going.
By the way, we ate your food.
Well, that's good. I hated to see it go to waste.
We ate your power bar, and that was pretty good. You got another one?
I might.
No, that's all right.
I got rice cake.
So I called up Fred, and I just said, Fred.
Now, what time of the afternoon is this?
This was 7 o'clock at night, because I had just gotten in. I was out, and then I had to go make a bunch of phone calls. There was a whole bunch of things going on. I was on the phone to Hollywood. I had business to take care of. I really did.
And then you had to deal with Fred.
And then all of a sudden it was like, the Fred thing. And I said, you know what? I'm really tired. I'm going to go take a shower and go to bed. And then I said, well, hey, the guy's going to be uncomfortable the whole night. What does he need to be uncomfortable for? So I figured.
He's such a sweetheart.
Yeah, I felt bad for the guy. You know what I mean?
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah. So I called him up and I said, Fred, you kook. What are you doing? So
what did he say to you?
He goes, I don't know what I did. I said, you know what? Let's not have a conversation about this. Let's just forget about it and, feel comfortable to come in tomorrow.
Would you have felt uncomfortable coming in today if he had called? What would you have done?
Well, what would I thought you were talking to Howard.
No, you.
What would I have done?
Were you coming in?
I was coming in.
No, he was coming in.
Oh, yeah,
I got the impression he was coming in.
Tom told me to come.
Right. So my life yesterday is bad ankles, Hollywood, and babysitting Fred. So that was the Fred story.
There you go.
You know, and I know I could have been a real dick about it, and you know, I could have carried on and told him how unprofessional I thought it was and all of that.
Oh, but that wouldn't have been fair.
But yeah, who cares? I mean, I don't, you know, really, you know, I'm not going to get into that with anybody. I really just don't want to get into it.
Well, that's why I was saying it wouldn't have been fair. You never got into it with me. How could you get into it with me?
Yeah. I mean, I don't even want to deal with any of that reality of people's problems and stuff. I'm not a problem solver. I say everyone deal with Tom.
And I usually don't come to you with those.
Right. Deal with Tom.
Right.
So that's why I say even Jackie leaves the show, Robin, Fred.
We never know if Jackie's coming back.
Right.
We think he's gone, then he shows up.
Right.
That's always
so from now on, everyone deal with Tom. That's his job. He's in management. I'm not. Funniest thing was as soon as Fred left, Billy took Fred's seat and sat in it for the last hour of the show.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he didn't know what cards to put.
Yeah, well,
didn't know anything
I was training him.
There you go.
Fred, man, don't do that again.
Okay.
People were jumping in that seat faster than you know.
Yeah, I tell you.
Yeah. Billy's looking for 5 days a week.
He's always been a bloodsucker.
Actually, Howard came up with a name right away of who to call. I hate to tell you that, but he was right away going, oh, he doesn't want this job, fine.
Who is it?
Well, it was Cronin.
Cronin?
Yeah.
You got to be kidding.
I like him.
Okay.
Hey, he's not you, but I like him.
You're entitled.
I'd rather have you, but if I can't have you, I'll have to just go to someone else.
If you got to go with Cronin, go with Cronin.
Yeah. Poor Cronin turned around in Kansas last night around 11 o'clock when he found out you were coming in. Yeah. He already packed from California. He was here.
Sorry, Mark.
Yeah. Sorry, Mark. Fred wants his job back. Cronin. Yeah. Well, there it is. That's the story of Fred.
Woo, Fred.
And here's a fax I received. Is frightening Fred out of his freaking mind or what? What's going on? There must be a virus loose in the studio or something. First, Robin storms out of the studio, then Fred leaves his duties for reasons known only to him. When am I going to see someone that I can't stand storm out of the studio like Ralph and never return? Yeah, that we don't have.
That's never going to happen.
No. Guess I spoke too soon when I said yesterday that Fred's dormant. Should have known it wouldn't last.
So this was the guy that pushed me over the edge.
I think he left to blow up a federal building or something. Fred's behavior is more frightening than the Nicole Simpson-Ron Goldman autopsies could ever be. He gave douche chills to a parking meter with his moods. Somehow Siobhan seems more stable. I'd do anything for Fred's job, anything. I'd brush Fafafoe's teeth with my fingers. I'd wash the joke man's feet with my hair. I'd French kiss that yenta Cindy Adams and that cow Liz Smith. If I was 9-inch Norris, I'd chain myself to the cart machines and never leave Madison Avenue. She's got the best job on earth outside of Robin, that is. By the way, Robin, I'd like to take this time to tell you that you did surpass Fred in the frightening genre, only for a little while, though. Fred reclaimed his crown in record time. Oh, what a surprise.
When the challenge is issued.
I'd like to apply for Fred's job. Here's what I can do. I can pouch my food when I eat, or at least I'm willing to learn. I can also pour syrup on my waffles and only eat the parts where the syrup fell onto. Need I go on?
You see, I innovated all this.
Yeah. I can also not play the sound effects during appropriate times and demand that people stay the hell away from my bag-o tricks.
But you got to know when to do it.
Yeah. And I can also write an occasional bit or two. This guy thinks he can blend right into the K-Rock family. By the way, Jackie's overdoing quitting the show for a day, isn't he? That's from King of All Polacs.
It's not November yet.
Yeah. Well, there it is.
I don't know. Did Tom have a closed-door meeting with Jackie yesterday?
I don't know. Was that going on? Jackie probably looking for Fred's salary as soon as he quit.
I know. I was waiting for someone.
I got to do twice the work now. He wouldn't budge.
Was Jackie in a closed-door meeting?
I don't know. I saw the Jokeland room door close for a second after Tom went in, and I didn't know whether Jackie was in there or not.
Is that right, Jack?
He just asked me real quick, was this some kind of bit? And I said, not if it is.
Tom, the investigator. I see.
I did see that go on. I didn't know what was happening.
You know, Tom had already discussed it with me. I informed him it wasn't a bit. So then he goes to Jackie. Has to.
Well, I'm sure it was before that. I think it was.
I see. Tom, the investigative reporter. Tom is so involved in this show. It's just so great to have all of his help. I can't tell you.
No, we just kind of met in the hall.
Yeah, I can't tell you what a wonderful man he is. He just can't keep his mouth shut. He just can't do it. As much as I begged him to act like he's not even here, he can't.
He gets involved.
He gets involved.